Alright lads, you ain't gonna believe this, but it is patch notes day, my dudes. Squad's 9.0 update is finally here, and I still don't know how to feel about this one, but it's here, and it's a fair old monster. Unreal 5, new map, sort of, faction changes, gameplay tweaks, and enough balance changes and fixes to make you wonder if you've accidentally loaded the wrong game. I still have some concerns about this, and I will get into them at the end of this video, but for now, I want to focus on the positive. So let's break it down. But before we do, make sure you subscribe for more squad guides, gameplay and updates. I'm aiming for 35,000 subs before the year is out. Don't make me send a Logi to your house. Right, the big headline. Squad has officially left Unreal Engine 4 behind and jumped to Unreal Engine 5.5. What does that exactly mean for you? Well, it's not just shinier grass or rocks with extra polygons, it's nanites tech, fancy graphic wizardry, chaos physics, vehicles go boom more believably, and meta sounds. Gunfire and explosions feel much more meaty. For returning players, one of the wins here is frame pacing is fixed. Remember that weird micro stutter that made firefights feel like you were playing on your grandma's Wi-Fi? Well, it's gone. Or at least, it should be. And this shift sets the stage for future stuff like proper lighting, dynamic weather, and better optimization down the line. Although, no one said how long that line's going to be. In short, it's the tech leap that should keep Squad alive for another decade, so long as they do it right. Moving on to map updates. First up, Al-Basra. As most of us know, it's been completely rebuilt for Unreal Engine 5. It's bigger, it's denser, it's shinier, and with a new airport for good measure. Fighting in the city feels way more intense, and it is no longer a map where vehicles can just farm infantry unopposed. Think more ambushes, more chaos, and more opportunities for your squad mates to get lost on the wrong street corner. How long till you find a Marks meme 1500 meters away? Every single map has been updated for Unreal 5 compatibility. Some have worked better than others, and there's now a global lighting system that makes everything look a bit more consistent. That's dev speak for you can actually see what's happening without cranking your gamma to Minecraft levels. But it's not all good news. Balea, our beloved Donald Trump map, has been retired. Some people will miss it, most people will shrug and keep skipping it in the map vote anyway. We have a new system for commendations. At the end of a round, you can now hand out commendation tokens. These little pats on the back for squad leads, medics, or just that random bloke who didn't scream at everyone in local chat. Stack up commendations and you'll unlock visible ranks on your role icon. It's a long grind, about 2 years if you're consistent, but the goal is clear. It's to try and reward teamwork, encourage communications, and help new players spot decent mentors. Will it stop that one guy who plays music down the mic? Probably not, but at least now you can recognize the rare squad lead who actually places rallies. Fun fact, the highest rank I saw during the playtest was myself, as a marksman. Right, now we've got some new and updated factions. And this update seriously shakes up the roster. Irregular Militia has almost been completely overhauled again. They're now more like a Russian-backed proxy force. They get a shiny, new but not new T-72A. Well, it's new to them. This tank will have weaker armour than the more modern T-72S and 72B3 with a maximum of 500mm frontal turret and 180 frontal hull, but will retain similar firepower. Militia gets new weapons like the VSS Ventores and even a recon drone for scouts. Yes, drones, and you know my feelings on this. Commander overhaul when, please, or fold? K, thanks, bye. Expect a full militia faction breakdown video in the coming days because there's a lot of stuff. Ground forces of Iran have replaced the old Middle Eastern Alliance faction. They get some updated vehicles, Humvees and the classic UH-1H helicopter, and I'm pretty sure they get a version of the M16. And then my absolute favourite not. Canadian Bums with Guns. A brand new, totally pointless and irrelevant irregular faction. Think civilians with captured gear, SKS's Lee Enfield's improvised explosive. They are the most pointless addition to squad since Weapons Sway and the Chinese commander's bombing run. Oh no, wait, that still hasn't been done. In short, we have a bit more variety, some more flavour, and probably more excuses for your squad lead to pick the faction with the cool gun instead of the one that actually fits the fucking map. Faction and vehicle tweaks. Most factions got love this patch. There is a new Pathfinder Raider role for the USA, British Armed Forces and Canadian Armed Forces. Basically a close quarters specialist for those who love full auto and hollow sights. And this is a good addition. Lots of expanded role kits and balance tweaks across the board, adding in loads of iron sights and hollow sight options for the vast majority of the community who will no longer be able to run optics because Unreal 5. I do like the fact though that Offworld have clearly read the room by implementing all this. The People's Liberation Army Heavy AT kit has traded in their QBZ-95 carbine out for another tandem round. So that massive tube gets 2 tandems now. We get a pistol as your primary. This ought to be interesting. VDV and Russia now get 2 scout kits, and they also come with handheld drones. Yeah, I'll see how this one plays out, but I still think this has taken too much away from the commander. But hey, I've said my piece. Vehicles also got rebalanced. Australia and Marines have lost 1 LAV in their mechanised and motorised battle groups, reducing it from 4 to 3. Turkey lost an M60T tank, so they now only have 1 unless it's armoured, and they keep 3. Clearly, Turkey's starting to run out of money. But here's this. Tanks and helicopters now have longer spawn timers, so losing one actually hurts more. And the Turkish Land Forces finally ditched the old Huey for a proper UH-60. Canadian Armed Forces Air Assault now gets a close air support helicopter, the CH-146 CAS. This comes equipped with a GAU 50 cal and 2 minigun door gunners. This is going to be spicy to see how this pans out. These are only a snippet of changes and add-ons. Full patch notes will be in the description down below. Moving on to gunplay and gameplay. This is the big quality of life section for most players. And I'm just going to put it out there, right? It's a massive step in the right direction, but there's still a tiny bit of fine-tuning to do to make it better. But nonetheless, we've had a recoil rework. It is supposedly less random, smoother, feels more natural. Your gun no longer kicks like it's possessed by a poltergeist. I mean, yeah, it is a step in the right direction. I do feel to accommodate this though, they need to bring back the old or similar ADS speeds, because I wrote this entire script for this video in the time it takes to ADS a G3. Suppression has been toned down. Getting shot at is still scary, but your screen doesn't instantly turn into a hangover simulator. And pistols and SMGs no longer blind you with that mega suppression bug. Now look, this isn't taking away from the power of suppression. It's just dialing in that little bit more, because let's be honest, no one likes staring at a screen that has been completely smothered in Vaseline for about 15 seconds, unless you like getting headaches. And specific guns like the VAL, the VSS, SKS, M240 and others have all been tuned individually to feel better, but I have to admit, the VAL and VSS still have a long way to go. Skirmish mode has had a rework. It's no longer just tiny, advanced and secure. It's now 50 versus 50, infantry focused. Shorter 20 to 30 minute rounds with teams fighting over 5 points conquest style. It's basically squad's nod to its original roots from Battlefield. Perfect for warming up or for when you don't have 2 hours to sink into a match. It's a great little change to have now and then if things have been a bit overwhelming, especially when you're up against that team that has an entire clan running all of the armor. I genuinely enjoy this game mode because it is a straight up infantry versus infantry fight, and squad leaders are going to learn a huge lesson. Rallies are your most important tool here. as there is no fob building. Now, since I last played, they have added a handful of light vehicles, so, you know, you can still do logistics runs to get ammo to the front line. You're just going to be the Uber Eats for ammunition. Scopes and point shooting also saw some changes. Scopes look much crisper now, no more blurry sight pictures, and point shooting has been improved, allegedly, to no longer be tied to frame rate. I'll be the judge of that. Moving on to a bit that you're probably not that bothered about, but some people do like collecting these things: cosmetics and extras. The new Insurgent Weapon Skin Pack for the AKM, SKS, Mosin, and AMD 65. There's a new free emote called Downtime. That's basically going to be all of us while we're waiting for the servers to stop shitting the bed. And expanded skins for Militia, USMC, and PMCs. Not game changing, but hey, if you ever wanted your AK to look slightly different before you die instantly, now's your chance. Moving on to system and fixes, and this is probably a bit of a meaty bit that a lot of you will be interested in. Here's some quick highlights though. One of our favourite kits, the unarmed roll, has been completely removed. No more running around with absolutely nothing pretending to be useful. It's a shame this, because I always had a plan to do a video where I was the commander, but I would take the unarmed kit. So I wanted to be an unarmed commander, and I wanted to see if I could still win. Now, they have reworked the picture-in-picture scopes to draw directly to the player's screen, instead of fidelity and image clarity, especially when using upscaling. This change has removed the prioritize clarity or prioritize AA options from the settings menu and allows scopes to draw at a full crisp resolution. It's still got a bit to go to be fully dialed in, but for those of you who play at 1080p, it's pretty solid, to be fair. They've increased the standard amount of pistol magazines from 2 to 4. This is quite a good change. It's been something I've been calling for a long time. There is a new driver focus zoom for vehicle drivers. Drivers no longer have any excuses to not see those landmines now. Slightly increased ADS focus zoom amount for iron sights and reflex sights. This is actually quite handy because, as we all know, squad, you're fighting over long distances. So just to have that little bit of like focal zoom, it's going to help you pick out those targets like 100 meter plus. That's a good change. That's good. Well done. Now, apparently vehicles shake more realistically. Drones are also easy to shoot down. And here's a fun one. Advanced and Secure and Random Advanced and Secure have reduced the number of tickets gained from capturing an enemy-held objective from 60 to 50. Capturing a neutral-held flag will continue to provide 20 tickets. Yeah, I'm not sure on the reasoning behind this change. I don't know if it's to try and make games shorter or if it's to make people focus on defense, but either way, I don't think it's going to do either of those. Because the tickets that you gain from taking an enemy objective isn't the problem with Random Advanced and Secure or Advanced and Secure. The problem with that game mode is the lanes. They're dross. They're slop. Anyway, I'm ranting. Support battle groups have removed every single main battle tank spawn from all conventional faction support type battle groups. This is an important one to keep tabs on. So, you get your 2 toes, you get your 2 habs. But you now no longer get a tank. I'm pretty sure you only get like 1 light IFV as well, so this is, yeah, I don't mind this. I think this could be quite interesting, but I think we're going to have to start picking our factions a bit more carefully now. And speaking of battle group changes, the Armoured Battle Group have added an initial 10-minute delay to their extra main battle tank spawn. Again, I'm not sure as to why this change was made, because that's the whole point in going for armoured, is so you had your tanks from the get-go and you got an extra one, but hey ho, we're here now. And yes, literally a buttload of bug fixes. Guns, map, animation, vehicle changes, you name it. They probably fixed it, or broke it differently, we'll see, but the main thing is, it is an impressive list of fixes. Now there are some known issues, and because no squad patch will be complete without them. There are CRF kit texture bugs, vehicle rec models not matching, helicopter spawn hiccups, optics are either too bright or too dim, and quad bikes still can't be pushed. RIP, your quad stuck in a ditch. Right, now I want to cut the crap. This is still a monumental risk, because this update is nowhere near fucking ready. The amount of riots going on behind the scenes right now at the time of recording this, with server owners and server providers practically screaming and off-world that this update is nowhere near ready or acceptable, is a genuine concern. Server performance is beyond acceptable. Even servers with a 13900K, which is pretty much fucking top whack, are seriously struggling to keep a steady TPS. And honestly, we are pretty close to a crisis here, and Offworld have very little time to get this right. Now, you as a player may think, well, how does this server performance stuff affect me? It's pretty simple, really. Fucking massively. If the server is running like piss, the gameplay will be piss. You desync, stuttering, vehicles almost being impossible to drive or fly, rubber banding, hit registration issues, running around a corner and then suddenly fucking dying. The list goes on. When you compare server performance between Unreal 4 and Unreal 5, you can already see the issues. All of this makes the game feel like complete garbage. But Offworld don't really seem to see the real issue here, or at least they don't understand the full scale of it. Server providers are going to be inundated with requests from server owners to upgrade. And upgrades aren't a simple click of the fingers to magic up. This stuff takes time, it's a logistical nightmare, and to top it off, supply and demand is going to be in full swing, so expect server owners a lot of costs to fly up. So you get an idea. It costs myself around $360 a month to run Dead on Dismount. That's a dedicated box, all of our relevant subscriptions for software, for things like Ticket Tool and Battlemetrics, etc, etc. And we're on if I remember correctly, a 12900K. Now, I can't really afford to be splurging out much more than that, because that is a lot of money to find a month. Now, the other issue comes for those who are paying for an instance. Now, these are typically cheaper, because this is effectively sharing a box with other servers. Usually you have about between 4 or 6 servers per box. But they'll no longer be able to do so, as again, due to the performance issues server side, I think you'll be lucky to run 3 instances per box. So again, more boxes will be needed to run squad, again forcing prices up. Right now, there is only one logical answer, which is a band-aid fix, but it allows Unreal 5 squad server performance to be at least comparable with Unreal 4, and that is to simply drop the player count per server. Somewhere between 80 and 86 will be fine, as data has shown squad server performance is fine within this range. It's when it hits the 90s to 100s it completely loses the plot. Honestly, it feels like a different game when the player count is in the 80s. It's how it should be, but every server would have to do this. At least then, we could play squad in an enjoyable state. Offworld can get their data and do more testing to get 100 player servers up and running again in a matter of weeks, and with that will come more optimizations because they've got more data. If they don't do this, I can see squad going up in smoke, along with the server rooms. Offworld, you are at serious risk of pricing out not only your players who have to upgrade their PCs to play squad, but your communities as well. And squad without a community is a dead game. You don't have much time to turn this around before people get burnt out and never return. And with games such as Battlefield 6 coming out soon and Escape from Tarkov finally going to full release and being available on Steam, Arma Reforged going from strength to strength, you better sort your shit out real fast before you lose what little dedicated community and creative partners you have left.